Welcome back, sports fans, for another weekly edition of our Pioneer Sports Preview. I'm joined here by Mr. Dane Pavlovsky. This week, we're going to start off talking about the state finals in wrestling. Had the regionals this weekend for individuals. You were at the District 3 action there. Chip Hills, Big Rapids, Reed City was there. So let's talk a bit about the kids that came out of there and are going to be representing their schools at the state finals here at the Palace in the next week after.
Yeah, I was there in Kingsley for that action. Great day of wrestling, if you're into that. It was good time, very intense, especially when it got to the blood round where it's win or go home. Mm-hmm. And a lot of great performances. Like you said, Chippewa Hills brought 11 kids, and they're taking 8 through to states now, which, as Coach Nate Esford said, that's a pretty good day. That tells you a lot about your program with bringing 8 out of 11. And Big Rapids only brought 2, Lee Muhammad, Nate Weckesser, but they're both moving on to the state finals. They both actually were the champions in their individual weight classes, so pretty solid for Big Rapids. At Reed City, talking to Coach Roger Stieg, kind of disappointing day for the Coyotes. They brought 6, and they only moved through 1, Adam Kerr, who they thought would go through, but he got 3rd place, and he was kind of the favorite, talking to coaches, talking to people, that he would run right through. But in his weight class at 145, Chippewa Hills stole the show. Mason Dye and Kevin Briscoe came out at 145. They ended up meeting each other in the finals at the weight class, and the Chippewa Hills coach kind of said, you win. They didn't want to wrestle. They didn't want to get hurt.
They kind of just want to pick somebody.
Yeah, so those two actually, kind of ran the show, had a good moment holding each other in their arms for the announcement. But so Chippewa Hills, though, the big winner on the day, and head coach Nate Etheridge, 8 out of 11 moving on. A lot of really talented grapplers on that squad. Just every time a Chip Hills guy was on the mat, you could tell that he was way head and above the other kid. And just very good day for Chippewa Hills. Big Rapids, Coach Dan Sleeper, very impressed with his guys. They both got 1st place, like I said. And then Reed City, Adam Kerr didn't finish like they thought he would. But, Roger Stieg saying after, he's the kind of kid who this is going to get him pumped up. He's not going to say, oh, man, I got 3rd,
right,
and feel bad. He's going to turn it around and say, okay, we're going to the Palace. It's time to turn it on. And he, I think, is going to make some noise in his weight class. And, Chippewa Hills, obviously, they don't have the 2 weeks. They have team finals coming up in Battle Creek. So a lot of success for that Chippewa Hills program. You just got to wonder if maybe that's going to kind of tire them out going to teams or how that's going to work. But a lot of great CSAA talent moving on to the Palace and individuals. And it's going to be a great shot for a lot of people from this area to really make some noise on the state stage against some really good wrestlers.
Yeah, like you said, I think kind of status quo as far as looking at Chip Hills and Big Rapids. Those are the guys you kind of expected. Obviously with Chip Hills with the kind of standard they've set here in the area for their wrestling program. But also, I think it is a little surprising that Reed City only got 1 guy out. The 1 guy they did get out is kind of who you expected, but was kind of thinking they'd get a few more guys into individuals. But that's what happens, and it's kind of the tournament time. You see where you go from there. So we'll see what happens when those guys head down to the Palace here in the week after next. All right, now I'm joined by Mr. Bob Allen, and as we usually do, take our look at Ferris State sports. Let's take a look back at hockey this weekend. One of our last 2 long road trips for the regular season in Bemidji State. Took the first game, dropped the second game 2-1. But in the process, Bulldogs did wrap up first round home ice advantage in the first round of the WCHA playoffs. So just looking at this team, that was one of their goals, obviously coming in, but still have a few series left here in the regular season. So what do the Bulldogs need to do, especially looking here, coming back home this weekend against Alaska Anchorage, to keep that pace going, to go from wire to wire as the first place team in their first year in the WCHA?
They got to just keep doing the things that they have been doing, which sounds simple enough. But as the season goes, you get injuries, teams get injuries, you start, working around, teams make adjustments, you're making adjustments. And the thing that's been working for Ferris State right now is playing very solid defense. They gave up 3 goals on a weekend. You got to be happy about that.
Definitely.
Okay, they got, Saturday night they only got 1, but you're going to have nights like that. So they keep playing that defense. The chances they're one of the highest scoring teams in the league. They're okay, especially with Alaska Anchorage coming to town.
Definitely, yeah. Like you said, at least it's nice to be having them come here and then having to make the trip out there. Although they do have to go out to Alaska for another trip here towards the end of the year. But just how important is it just for their first season here in the WCHA to establish themselves as that program you're going to have to beat if you're going to want to do something in this conference?
I think there was a lot of uncertainty when this whole league came together. You got Bowling Green, you got Lake State Northern. They might play them in a weekend series here and there, but you don't know anything really.
Right.
Weekend series, non-conference, you don't have that same level of intensity. So I think that for Ferris to come out and running the table, it's from the beginning of the season they've been in first place. I think that sets the tone that the Bemidji's, the Minnesota States, all them. This is the level they got to get to. Ferris is setting the bar. Everyone's got to at least get to that point to be successful. And Ferris has got to can't go drop down because that's going to hurt them later on in life.
Definitely, yeah. Like you said, they're sitting pretty right now. New poll comes out tomorrow. Right now, they're sitting nationally 4th in the whole nation ranking wise. So if they can just keep the status quo going here and finish out the season strong, and like you said, try to keep as healthy as you can with the amount, you're getting towards the dog days of the season here. You're going to run into those sort of injuries. So I think that's just the biggest thing is take care of their business, stay healthy, and they should be obviously going into the weekend tournament there with the WCHA. Should be a favorite to come out of there. And then, of course, after that, we're looking at the national tournament. So we'll see what happens. But right now, Bulldogs are off to a good start. All right, now I'm joined by Mr. Brandon Fountain. Got the Olympics going on here. Team USA had some big victories this weekend. Starting off here Saturday, get the shootout victory over Russia, and then yesterday took care of business against Slovenia. And now we're getting into the good part of the Olympic tournament. So looking at their draw now and the path they have to go for a gold medal, how hard is it going to be for Team USA to make it all the way to that title game round?
I think with their depth, they're going to be the team to beat, actually, in their group, with winning the group that they were in.
Yes.
They obviously had so much depth yesterday with Phil Kessel, who's been a really great player, even in Toronto with the NHL. So, they've got the depth at forward. They do have goaltending, so that's not going to be a problem. It's going to be when they come up against Canada and Russia again,
right,
and even Sweden. It's going to be a tough game for them against those higher talent teams. Against Slovenia, that's like playing the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah, like you said, I think that's going to be a very tough draw for Team USA, but they are one of the deeper teams now looking at the tournament field, and I think they've got a little bit of momentum on their side. And going off yesterday's results, I do believe that if Russia would have won, they would have been playing Russia first off the bat again and start off this next round. So I think they dodged a big bullet there as far as moving forward. And like you said, that's a team, if they're going to want it, they're probably going to have to run through them at the end of the tournament.
Oh, absolutely. Russia's still the favorite, regardless of Canada's being the reigning gold medalist. Russia is the team to beat.
Definitely. Looking at the goaltending situation, I know they got Miller out there the other day. Pretty much Brian Quick is going to be the guy that's going to save that team or be the main guy for them.
Quick may not have been the best goalie in the NHL coming into the Olympics, but he stepped it up quite a bit here. And he knows he's got the experience, and he's going to have great tutelage under Ryan Miller, who is just as good.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it's a situation where obviously, you want to have two pretty good goalies instead of just one really good one that you rely on the whole time, because you never know what's going to happen injuries-wise. And, one guy might get cold, pop the other guy in there, and you might be the hot glove going forward. So we shall see. But right now, Team USA off to a pretty solid start here as we get ramping up here in the Olympic hockey tournament. Alright, sports fans, thanks again for tuning in to another weekly edition of our Pioneer Sports Preview. Remember, if you want to keep up on all the local and state sports news, remember to hit BigRapidsNews.com or pick up an edition of the Pioneer every day.